Welcome to Wednesday and welcome to the Contrarians live chat. We are live and Martin Popoff is back. The panel is here. We want to hear from you in the chat. Tonight's topic, the greatest hits album covers. So let's get started. This will be good. All right, welcome to the Contrarians, and we are live. We've got a good panel tonight, don't we, ladies and gentlemen? We got Johnny Metal, Jamie Louslow, Peter Kern, and of course, Martin and myself are here. Martin is back, everybody. He's back. And tonight we are going to...
I got to tell you, now I got that thing going where it automatically turns you on to mute every once in a while. So I got to watch that as well. So let's just muddle our way through this one. Sorry about that.
We did last week with Tim, so...
Tim was different. Tim was way different.
We love you, Tim.
We gave Tim a shot. But anyway, our topic tonight, we're doing greatest hits album covers. So we want to hear from everybody in the chat. I see there's people already here. We're starting out. Oh, glad to see everybody tonight. Yeah, Logan. Johnny Metal is here. Yes, there he is. Cretan's here. There's a whole bunch of people here. We'll get to everybody. Thanks for coming on. We do want to hear from you. So if you don't know exactly what we're talking about, you will as we keep going. Johnny Metal. We're going to go Johnny Metal. We're going to go Jamie, Martin, Peter, myself, and we're going to keep going around, and we're going to go 3, 3, and 4. All right, John, go.
All right. Well, you got my number 10 up. So I thought, hey, let's start off with a little bit of comedy. Why don't we? Right. So Cheech and Chong's greatest hit. I mean, some of their greatest characters, you got to love that. Some Dave, some Sister Mary Elephant. Why not, right? Eric, my eye.
Yeah. Hey,
let's why not, right? I'm sure there's some folks, good Cheech and Chong fans out there. Okay, number 9. This one was a bit of a maybe a cash grab from Atlantic, but it's still an iconic picture of the band. And hey, shameless plug for me because we're doing a series on the band, Twisted Sister, with big hits and nasty cuts.
There you go.
There we go. So you got a good little cash grab photo, but a pretty cool photo. But nothing from the last 2 albums, which, well, there's probably good reasons for that. Anyway, and then my final pick for this go around is probably the album that got me into the man himself. Alice Cooper's greatest hits. Gotta love the gangster photo or the artwork there. I think to me that was just really cool to see as a kid. And then you have all the classic Alice Cooper band hits from back in the day. So that's my first 3.
All right, cool. All right. Martin, say something. I want to make sure you sound good.
Yeah, guys, just tell me if my mute goes on. It hasn't been doing it, but let's just see what's going on. And just wave your arms wildly if you lose me here. But let's just see who's in. Yeah, we've got Gary Joyce here. Let's see if we got any examples yet so far. Legs Diamond the collection and favorite.
Yeah, you might want to move in a little bit. I mean, ride that mic.
Okay. All right. And let's see. So yeah, I mean, the idea here with this show is that, as we learned on a previous episode, I mean, these greatest hits albums can often be the biggest seller of these bands, right? So I think the bands should pay some good attention and put some good album covers on these things, because potentially, if you're a gold and single platinum band, your double platinum album might be the greatest hits album. So some attention should be paid to these, and so that's the idea with this show, that these are ones where the album covers, they seem to put a little bit of work into it, kind of thing. So anyway, let's move on. Who's next? Jamie?
Jamie's up.
All right.
My first 2, they're cool because of who drew them. The first one is Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young So Far, the first CSNY album I ever bought, and that was drawn by Joni Mitchell, who I believe half the band dated. We'll just say dated.
Had relations with.
Graham Nash, I think, still calls her, the love of his life to this day. So the next one is America's Greatest Hits History, and that was drawn or designed by Phil Hartman from Saturday Night Live and News Radio and whatnot. He actually designed albums for Poco, I know, like Legend and maybe a few other. He did a few more for America. So yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Cool.
And my next one is pretty iconic, and the album cover fits the rest of their catalog pretty well, and it's Journey's Greatest Hits. And every band, I think, that's one. Yeah, the one is red and 2 is blue. So that would be the second one, even though it says 1 there for some weird reason. But the first one,
got 1 and 2 though.
Everybody's seen these. They're one of the best selling. Oh, that's 1 and 2. I see 1 and 2. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you just get 1, it's red. I think every band wants this kind of greatest hits has been on the Billboard 200 for the last 30 years. You know, Queen's greatest hits, CCR's greatest hits. If you get one of those kind of greatest hits, then your great grandkids never need to work again.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. There's your 3. All right, Martin, you're up.
Okay, my first one, I'm going to go with ZZ Top, The Best Of, in brackets 10 Legendary Texas Tales. I like this because it's laid out like a magazine, right? An old-timey 1940s, like amazing tales, like the Hawkwind album, actually. This is a good doppelganger for that Amazing Sounds, Astounding, whatever it's called, Hawkwind album. But I thought a little bit of work was put into this. I mean, part of the problem here, this was for London Records, and ZZ Top, I think, were ticked off at them for doing this, and they spent half their time back there on London Records trying to get off London Records, and then they had that big break, and then they came back and were on Warner Brothers and got bigger and bigger kind of thing. But I thought this was pretty cool. It looks better than ZZ Top's Greatest Hits, which is just that kind of cheesy photo shoot on a white background, right? So this one's pretty cool. The next one I've got is Thin Lizzy, The Adventures of Thin Lizzy. There's been a lot of Thin Lizzy comps. This one's really cool. I even drew this one and changed the colors and stuff. Or the back cover, I think, is where you get the different panels. Maybe that's in the insides or whatever. But this is pretty cool. I think there might be another variation of this, but that is completely awesome. That's a great cover for a Greatest Hits album. And again, like when you put this kind of work into them, I think when the fans show up in the store and look at this, I mean, it might be, even if they've got all the music, it might be enough to make them want to buy this thing. And then my third one is Rolling Stones' Grr. I always thought this was a pretty cool cover. You got the lips incorporated in there, and it's not title to spell. And it's a weird title for a Greatest Hits album, but it's kind of interesting. It's kind of playful. The Stones have a lot of these kind of silly, simple album covers, and this just kind of fits. So yeah, it's better than it could have been. Anyways, put it that way. Yeah. All right, let me just take a look over to the comments and see what we got coming in. The Elder of Rock has brought in Kiss Double Platinum. That's a good one. Best of Kansas is an iconic cover. Says Marlon. Let's see. Rush Chronicles, even with the band non-participation in it. Diamond Head, Behold the Beginning. Well, that's had a lot of different covers over the time. Grateful Dead, Skeletons from the Closet. That is actually a really cool cover as well. Good one there. Boston Greatest Hits, says D-Rocker. I can't quite picture that one right now. Let's see. Blue Oyster Cult, Don't Fear the Reaper, the best of Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah, BOC doesn't have too many. They do really well with their live albums, that's for sure. They've got great live album covers. Steely Dan Greatest Hits, Deepest Purple. Yeah, more on Deep Purple a little later. Let's move on to Australia.
All righty.
Well, that's a bit of a segue. Deepest Purple, the very best of Deep Purple. So this is the album that got me into the band and hard rock per se. I love the album cover with the little pyrotechnics. I love the back cover. This was actually a bit of a shoot in the arm for them. I think it went to #1 in the UK in the early 80s. And, I think the fever was out to get the reunion back. So, that's definitely one of my favorite album covers of the very best. In the Deep Purple family, the very best of Rainbow, or the best of Rainbow. I like this album cover. It's sort of like, sorry, Grant.
No, you're all right. You're all right. Lots
this
of
is sort of,
yeah.
It's kind of like a glider. I like it's got a bit of grandeur about it, a bit of mystery. It's kind of almost hypnosis. But the album cover it should have been is Richie. and doing his favorite poses. That would have been the album cover for me. But it's a great double album. It's got all the sample of all the different lineups, and it was my introduction to Rainbow. So sometimes the very best or the greatest is the introduction to a band, and it puts you on that journey, and the best of Rainbow was that album. The third one, some bands are dominated by a lead singer or a particular member of the band that just suck the energy. They've just got so much charisma, and you just simply you could just recognize the person by the face, and the rest is all history. And I'm talking about the Doors and the greatest hits.
Yeah.
So that poster has basically sold millions, squillions of albums. It's been on teenagers' walls as a poster. And I think it tells you everything about the band, the swagger, the mystery, the charisma. And I think it's a mighty fine photo. And it's right up there as the very best album covers.
Yeah. Well, it's a great photo. At least he's a good-looking guy. I'll leave it
That's
at
kind
that.
of a neat doppelganger for the second Rex album. Where do we go from here? I never noticed that. But if you put those
Definitely.
at the same time, kind of similar.
Yeah, certainly is. All right. Okay, for my first one, I'm going to go back to 1987 to a compilation, Paul McCartney, All the Best, which I really like this because anytime you have a picture of Paul with his Rickenbacker bass, I'm down. And I like the way, the songs are represented by some graphics, some, illustrations. And this one had a different release in the UK than it did here. So they had different track listings, like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 track listings. But it's a great comp, and I like it. And I think it's a nice cover. I dig it. I'm not one of those people that are really into greatest hits album covers. I always thought that when the record companies designed them, they always seem to put less effort into them. Yeah. And the ones that I pick, I can kind of stomach. There are a lot of really horrible greatest hits album covers out there as far as I'm concerned. This is good, but it's also Paul, so he's not going to do it half-ass, so to speak. My next one I'm going to pick up is a comp by the Smithereens, Blown to Smithereens, which I think is kind of funny. I don't know. They've had they've had a couple of anthologies, one of rare tracks, one of greatest hits and anthologies, but this is just strictly greatest hits. They didn't have all that many hits, but we have a greatest hits from them. And I think that's decent. It's kind of funny. I like it. All right. Yep. This one, I think came out in like 71. The Who Meaty Bitty Big and Bouncy, which is a fabulous compilation. All the stuff from 64 to 70, all the singles, just everything you would need, but it's a perfect compilation. And I like the cover on here. Come on, it's classic. It's a great comp. Highly recommended if you just want those early Who singles. So there you go. There's my 3.
All right. And we see Gary's mentioned the Who's greatest hits. We've got Monkeys Anthology 2 CD on Rhino coming in with a lenticular cover. Says Lounge Dweller. We've got Great White Gallery, says D-Rocker. 99 latest and greatest. Latest and greatest. I think I've got a warrant that looks pretty cool like that, right? Devo's greatest hits, says Mr. Frickin'. I think he means Devo there. Pat Travers Anthology, Paul Kossoff, the best of Paul Kossoff, featuring goatee era Kossoff. Pretty cool. Yeah, Leonard Skinner Gold and Platinum. That one kind of looks like that does remind me of actually Kiss Double Platinum a little bit, right? Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers Best of. I can't quite picture that one. Doobie Brothers Best of. Yeah, that actually was a pretty cool one. Very Best of Rainbow, Elton John Greatest, Outlaws Greatest Hits. Yeah, some good ones coming in. All right, over to John.
All right. So my next pick, maybe this isn't a band that a lot of people have heard of, but hey, what is it I always hear Grant say? We're just trying to turn you on to something new, maybe something a little different. So this one is definitely going to be a little something different. This is a Christian heavy metal band called Bride, and this was kind of a middle era of theirs, and this is a best of called Shotgun Wedding, 11 number 1 hits and misses. I love how they did the name misses with that. So there's a probably number 1 on like the Christian rock charts most likely, but this is still a pretty good solid band if you want to check out something along that line. My next step up, going back to another, maybe a little bit of a cash grab with how they did this, but Foreigner Records with the jukebox hero look and everything going on there. Of course, a lot of mostly just single mixes and single versions and stuff like that.
This was brought up 2 weeks ago as a bad album cover, and I defended it.
Oh, I must have missed that show, Jamie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, it was something that came to my mind. So anyway, there you go. My next pick, going a little blues guitar. This one was another probably cash grab by RSO when Eric Clapton left RSO to go to Warner Brothers. But Timepieces, the best of Eric Clapton, coming out in '92. Again, anything from that early Eric Clapton period, perfect. So,
you know what? I always wondered if that's Eric Clapton or not standing there.
You know,
I don't think so.
I kind of don't think so either.
I think it's a model.
You know how the Australian "Let There Be Rock" is the guitarist from Buffalo's fingers on the Australian version of AC/DC "Let There Be Rock" on the fretboard, the black and white cover. It's kind of funny. Hey, I wanted to mention, John, you mentioned greatest hits and misses, and this made me think of this. Tom Werman, the producer, right? He had, I guess, these made up as a memento or whatever. They're just kind of like a promo item, but produced by Tom Werman, greatest hits, and then on the back, greatest misses. And so on the hit side, he's got a picture of him, smiling in the middle of it, black and white picture. And then he's got pictures of Motley Crue, Girls, In Color, Dream Police, Cat Scratch Fever, Twist Sisters, Stay Hungry, Theater of Pain, a Molly Hatchet album, a Kicks album, Lita Ford album, another Molly Hatchet, another Ted Nugent, another Cheap Trick, Poison. And then on the greatest misses, he's in there frowning. Yeah, so that's on the back. It's one of these thick jewel cases, right? There's my little note from him. But on the greatest misses, he's got a Mother's Finest album, Brownsville Air Special, The Producers, the Love Hate album, which is a masterpiece, Crocus School's Out, The Hawks, The Biz, Glass Tiger, LA Guns, Pariah. For some reason, he's got a Cheap Trick album back there. What is that? The Graveyard Train, and a Jeff Beck album. I wonder where he has that there. So that's kind of a cool thing. But, there's Tom Werman's greatest hits.
Well, when did you get that?
Oh, I interviewed him maybe 15 years ago or something, and he mailed it to me.
How cool is that?
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's even got like a full booklet in it that he did, and it's there's no barcode or anything. It's just, I guess, credits, right?
Yeah.
It's got, pictures of. There's a picture of him there. It's just a great little memento that he got made up. Two CD compilation. Yeah.
Wow. Impressive.
So was that it for John?
That was it for me.
That was John. Yep, that's for John.
Okay, let's check over the comments here. Chicago 10 greatest hits, Frank Sinatra greatest hits, Best of Kansas, Ted Nugent Great Gonzos. Yeah, pretty good. Led Zeppelin Volume 1 4 CD set. Megadeth greatest hits, Back to the Start. Priest had a few essential. Yeah, Priest ones aren't that great. Best of Budgies, that's okay. Santers, the 4 CD boxes, D-Rocker. Priest Metalworks, that's kind of an interesting one. Bonfire Pearls. All right, over to Jamie.
All right, I thought for sure someone was going to bring this up in the chat by the time I got to my second round, and that is Best of the Beast by Iron Maiden. You got all the little Eddies there. You got like Power Slave, and you got the Trooper, and you got Killers, and Somewhere in Time, and Peace of Mind. And when you open it, I always like it when the CD matches the picture behind it. So when you take this off, all the images kind of match up. And there you got a real live one, and Live Before Death. What is that? Live Before Death? Live After Death.
Live After Death.
Yeah, and you got the Fear of the Dark there. So yeah, I like all the Eddies. And my next one is Bob Marley Legend. Legendary album cover. One of those greatest hits that, If Ziggy Marley didn't have his own career, he doesn't even need a career. But I saw him a couple of years ago. He was great. And I happen to have this one, and the cover is made out of hemp. So you could smoke the cover.
Smoke the cover.
While you listen to the album. And the album is in Rastafarian colors.
Of course.
And then my next one, you put this smile and those cheekbones on the cover, and I am
goodness.
all in.
Here we go.
Janet Jackson, a design of a decade. There you go.
We
and
go.
in the back, I like to pretend she's like, "Oh, Jamie, you're so funny. Oh, you make me laugh. Oh, you're so stupid. Hey, you want to know a secret? As someone who's married to a black girl, I'm going to give you all a secret out there that you're not supposed to know. I'm going to tell you. If you ever talk to a black girl and she calls you stupid, you are so in. You are so in. It's up to you to fuck it up after that. After that, though, crazy or stupid, and you're in.
There you go. We're here to inform everybody. So there you go. Awesome. So there's your three.
Okay. So my next three, my first one is Yes, classic Yes. And I think this should win the entire show. Because I think it's one of the greatest hits album covers of all time. I think it rivals. It'd be top quartile for me among the Roger Dean Yes album covers. Colors are just so cool on it. So that's a really nice one. And then Pink Floyd, a collection of great dance songs. So there you get a nice title to go along with a great cover. So just a cool Hypnosis style cover. I say Hypnosis style because I suppose this is probably, I hope I'm getting this right, but this should be Storm Thorgerson after Hypnosis implodes, right? Because he kept doing a few things, right? So I think this is just a Storm cover. Just a really, really nice album cover and a classy title. You know, they're making a little fun of themselves, which, for a very serious band, they don't do that very often. So I thought when I was looking for the graphics for this, there's a version of this that doesn't have any text and it's just the image. Huh.
Was that on does anybody know if that was like a reissue or was that the original way it came? Is that how it came out in the UK? I don't know. I don't think
I've ever seen it like that.
It's just the whole image. I should have popped it up there, but I didn't.
Cool. Oh, well. Okay, and my third and final one for this bunch is Deep Purple, When We Rock, We Rock, and When We Roll, We Roll. Stupid, ridiculous title. But this looks totally like a Deep Purple studio album. I'm sure it fooled a few people. You know, when you actually go out and get proper illustration, it totally looks like a studio album. And so does the title, for that matter. It doesn't sound like a hits comp. But yeah, this is as good as, and they've, I took these out actually as well to show, there's Deep Purple, Purple Passages. It's crap. And even more crap is the notorious 24 Karat Purple album. That thing's ridiculous. It's not even purple. It's like brown. And then I had a couple other Yes ones out here. I thought this was really cool. I got this sent to me after doing a Yes interview, fully signed, of what's this called? The Ultimate Yes 25th Anniversary Collection. But great album cover on that. And then this one's not so cool. This is back to the sort of talk era type 90s graphics, just kind of a messy compilation. What is this called again? The Very Best of Yes on Atlantic. That is my three. Let's take a quick look over here. Kiss Best of Solo Albums. David Lee Roth, The Best. Actually, that's a pretty cool cover. Journey, The Journey Continues. Let's see, 2 from Split Ends, History Never Repeats, The Best of Split Ends, drawings on the cover, and The Best of Split Ends 1993, photo on the cover. Thanks for that. John Lennon, The Shaved Fish album, Molly Hatchet, Greatest Hits, High Tide in Green Grass, UK version, Rolling Stones, Foghat Live, that's their live album. Let's see, Rush Spirit Radio, Montrose, The Very Best. That is a cool one. Montrose, The Very Best of Montrose. It's actually extra cool because I did the liner notes for that back in 2000. So I interviewed Ronnie for that. But that's got the cool little Montrose fly on it that is part of what's that? What's that? Jump on it, right? Isn't the fly on the back of Jump on it, or the? I think that fly is used there as a cool mask. It was a great mask. They should have used that a little more. But yeah, it's on a white background on that very best of Montrose. Max Webster Diamonds is not the greatest album cover, but yes, that is their comp. Kim Mitchell's got a comp too, and that's actually got a little bit better cover. The Cars Anthology, just what I needed. All right, over to Australia again.
Okay, well, over to Australia. Let's cover an Australian band, Midnight Oil and 20,000 watt RSL. So just for the folks in the Northern Hemisphere, RSL's a Returned Servicemen Leagues club, similar to pubs, and that's where Midnight Oil treaded the boards. So I love this photo, really in your face, very stark. And I think, you know, sometimes photos are all you need on a greatest hits album. It tells you about the character and the charisma of the band. So I've always liked this one. The next one I'm going to put up is a guy called Billy Thorpe. Now, he may be known in America with Children of the Sun, but in Australia, he's a rock legend, and he probably single-handedly invented pub rock. So originally, he was in a band called Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs, which were a beat group. And then in the early 70s, he changed his style. He was, played the lead guitar and became quite hard rock and heavy metal. And his catchphrase was "suck more piss." So I think the folks in Australia will know what I'm talking about. Love this album cover. It shows the whole sort of evolution of Billy from the Beatles type pop star into some sort of a new age rocker. And it's a really mighty fine anthology. So check it out if you can see it. Time Traveller Billy Thorpe. The next one I'm going to do is my tribute to one of my favourite New Zealand bands, probably the greatest New Zealand band in my opinion, called The Chills. And unfortunately, a week ago or two, Martin Phillips, the lead singer-songwriter, passed away. And this is their greatest hits. And, do yourself a favour and check out this band. They're beautiful, jangly pop. They're based in Dunedin. They had a little bit of success in the UK and also toured a bit of America. They're a bit of a cult artist. I would say that they're like New Zealand's answer to REM, if you want to have that sort of wheelhouse. But I thought this had a little bit of their humour, set in the snow, set in the Antarctic, and the very best of The Chills, and definitely worth checking out The Chills.
Nice. Cool.
All right, that's 3.
A compliment for Peter there.
That's very nice.
Sitting on to cool bands. Let's see, Breakfast in America, favorite Supertramp album, very best of Magnum, Chapter and Verse, 1986. Yeah, I believe that was a pretty cool one. Cher, 1974, greatest hits. Steppenwolf, Supertramp, the very best of Supertramp 2, 1992. Steppenwolf, Rest in Peace. Yeah.
That's good.
Anyone mention The Cure, Staring at the Sea, Standing on a Beach, depending on your choice of format. Pretty interesting one. That one looks like a Smith's album cover, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll. Black Sabbath. Not a great album cover, but one of the greatest gatefolds of all time, right? You guys know that one with the lady in the coffin with the man, that is freaky. That's a great one. Made in the Shade, yeah, good pick. Asia, Then and Now, Syd Barrett. Okay, over to Grant.
All right,
hang on, Peter.
Go ahead.
I thought that was only 2. Did you just do 2, or was there a third one? I thought I only
did Midnight Oil, Billy Thorpe, and The Chills.
Oh, that's right. You're right. My bad.
That's all right. We don't want to skip anything. I've done that before. All right, cool. Let's see.
All right.
Scroll up to the top. Okay. I don't know if this is necessarily great, but when I was a kid and I first got into this artist or this band, whatever you want to say, it was one of those records you had to have. And, I still like it because, I mean, heck, you get 3 Jimmys on the cover. Why not? I mean, this is kind of a cash grab for back in the day. The US version has a different cover. The UK version, well, I don't know. Does the UK version have a different cover? It's got a different track listing. I think it's got a different track listing, but same cover. But I like it. It's fine. It's of its
like
time.
that one too.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good picture, Jimmy. Yeah, that works. But this is kind of psychedelic, kind of. Kind of reminds me of Cream for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, this one, someone in the chat had already mentioned this. Of course, I'm going to mention this. This is like a twofer. This is like a bonus graphic. And I'm going to go with Beatles 62 to 66, 67 to 70. Come on, it's iconic. It's still one of the best comps. I mean, double comps of the Beatles that they ever did. This came out like 73. And they just recently remastered it. I don't have that. I figured I don't really need it, but I still appreciate it. And a little bit of trivia: the very first album I ever bought, rode my bike down to Kresge's in downtown Marion and bought Beatles 62 to 66.
Nice.
Begged my parent, can I have some? I have to get this record. Well, actually, I didn't know what I was going to get, but that's what I ended up picking. So that's where it all began.
Kresge's, with the lunch counter and the
yeah, it had a lunch counter and everything.
Records, the delete bin. Yeah.
But they had that. So there you go. There's that one. Okay, and this one, I kind of stumbled across this one. This is an Oasis cover. If it would pop up. Stop the Clocks, which is a comp, and it's a Peter Blake design. So if anybody knows Peter Blake, he was behind Beatles Sgt. Pepper. So I thought, well, that's kind of cool. At least Oasis is trying, It's just not a throwaway cover. They've put some thought into it. So I was good with that. So I like this. The other one I'm going to pick is a little bit more obscure. This is a band that I call them the 90s version of Talk Talk, because each album gets further and further out. And when they lost their, I guess their EMI, they didn't renew with EMI. EMI put out a best of, and Radiohead were up in arms about it because they didn't have anything to do with it. They wanted no part of it. And now, from what I understand, this is a fairly rare find. I think it's been pulled. I like the cover, though. Okay, I was thinking, well, it looks like Radiohead kind of put it together. That's what I was thinking for something that the band had nothing to do with. It fits right in with all their other strange album covers. So I don't know.
I've seen that quite a bit in these parts.
Okay.
I didn't know that was rare. Yeah.
That's what I understand.
All the copies got shipped down to you.
Yeah, maybe in Australia it's a bit different.
Well, yeah, we love our Radiohead.
There you go. I've never heard the comp. I can't comment on it, but I thought, I think that's a decent cover.
I like it.
Fits right in with their whole concept. So there you go. There's my three.
Nice. Let's take another quick look at the comments. Of course, Sydney's mentioned Pat Benatar, Songs for Jamie. Epitaph, 5 decades of classic rock. Let's see, Best of Gamma. Can't quite picture that. I should be able to. Frank Zappa, Strictly Commercial. Yeah, that's a good shot of Frank on that. I like that one. Nice, cool black and white picture. Cheap Trick Greatest Hits. Can't picture that. What that looks like.
I don't like now. I don't care for that cover very much, but that's all right.
Yeah. Let's see, Sammy Hagar, Greatest Hits Live. There's also Unboxed, where he's in the box. We featured that on a Doppelganger show, right? All right, so on to John, right, for your final.
Okay. Final four. All right. I believe D Rockers mentioned this one early in the chat. Boston's Greatest Hits. Let's see.
And there it is. Yes.
Just because anything to get that iconic guitar spaceship in there, and that great logo. I mean, it's just a wonderful cover. You really just need the first two Boston albums, but it's still a wonderful. Anytime you get to see that spaceship, it's always a wonderful cover.
Well, John, I don't think they've ever produced a poor cover. The artwork on them are all, I think they're all.
I would agree with that.
Is that a spaceship or a guitar?
Yes,
that always confuses me, because somebody said it's not a spaceship; it's actually a guitar flipped over. If you look at it,
yeah, that's definitely a guitar.
It's both.
It's
both. Yes,
the mothership
serves
guitar.
two purposes. You can play it and write in it.
That's right. That's right. All right. My next pick. Well, nobody should be surprised that I'm gonna mention a Wasp. First Blood. First Blood, Last Cuts. Some of these I think had die cuts. This one, my copy that I have now, does not. But this had some single mixes and some later tracks and stuff like that. But again, probably a cash grab for Capitol because by that point, Crimson Idol was out, and I think he was pretty much on his own. Next one, I think I have seen this one also mentioned in the chat, but I mean, come on, this album is just again, what you always say, sometimes the greatest hits are all you need. Well, Steve Miller Band, 74 to 78. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, you can't go wrong with this one. This is just solid. So many good songs on this, from Swingtown to Jungle Love to Take the Money. And of course, you got the whatever, the horse.
Isn't that a mouse? Stanley Mouse? Martin, do you know who did that artwork?
No, I don't. It sure looks like a Stanley Mouse. Yeah.
I think it is. Don't quote me. Someone in the chat may know. Yeah. Gary
Hopefully
may know.
Yeah, somebody will know. But anyway, so that's a classic. Now this next one, I would be a bad son if I didn't mention this one. Mm-hmm. This one spent, get this, folks, 490 weeks on the Billboard charts, consecutive weeks, which is kind of crazy. Yes, I'm gonna, for my mom who says she never watches any of these shows I do because she never knows any of the bands I talk about. So anytime I mention a Johnny Mathis reference, she's gonna love me for that. So yes, but that's pretty iconic. 490 straight weeks. It was on the Billboard charts. Nice.
Did that have like the record until Pink Floyd knocked it off? I'm wondering.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
How come every time I look at the Billboard charts, I never see Dark Side of the Moon on it?
Because it's probably at 199. You look at the Billboard 100.
I don't know if it's on there 200. Anymore.
Yeah, it may not be on there anymore.
No, but it did have a run.
That whole story. I mean, I wrote that whole Dark Side of the Moon book, and I can't even remember how the story. But it's funny. I just remember always hearing that and always looking it up as a kid. Yeah, it's not on the charts. I don't know what's going on.
Next week's show, we should do a ranking of our Johnny Mathis favorite Johnny Mathis records.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
There you go. There's an April Fool's show, something like that. That'd be fun.
If we did songs, all mine would be Christmas.
Yeah.
Was that 4 there, John?
Yeah,
that was.
That's just
that was.
Let's see what's coming in here. We've got Halloween, the singles box. We've got Scorpions Best of Volume 1. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That was a nice kind of illustration on that. Smashers, Thrashes, and Hits for Martin's favorite Kiss song. Let's put the X. And that does look like a total studio album. That is a really good shot of the band, right? Sly and the Family Stone, Riot, Archives Volume 4, says D Rocker. All right, over to Jamie for his final 4.
Here's your gatefold, by the way, there, Martin.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's great.
And I almost picked this. I almost kind of picked it because it's kind of classy in a way.
It is classy.
That album almost drove me crazy. I don't know if I ever told you guys this story, but the stereo's upstairs where I grew up as a kid, right? And we had wires going down and some speakers in the basement. And I was down there doing a school report for like 4 or 5 hours in a row. And I just took that album, because it's all those early songs discombobulated out of order, blah, blah, blah. And I took that album and I had them on the spindle. So it would play the first record and then the next record would drop. And then I'd like run upstairs and flip them over and do so I felt like I was like in a cult, like almost in a Sabbath cult, because I listened to that album for like 4 or 5 or 6 hours straight while I'm doing this school report in the basement. The creepiest, lurchingest, weirdest old Black Sabbath songs all in a row, but all not in the right order, kind of thing. So anyway,
tell me what you remember when you were a kid, stuff like that. Yeah.
I do think that album flows well as a even though they're out of order. Yeah. My next one is Capital Punishment from Megadeth. Kind of like the roulette wheel and the skulls and the devils. This was why would you buy this when it first came out? Kind of like the Iron Maiden CD. At the time, this was the only way to get the song Virus. And at the time, this was the only way to get Kill the King. So you kind of bought it for one song.
Hey, Jamie, what year did that come out?
Which one? The Megadeth?
Megadeth, yeah.
2003, 2000? 2000.
I've lived my life this long, and when I pulled that, I went, I've never seen that album cover in my life.
Really? Yeah.
I've never seen it like in a used bin or anything. Weird.
Yeah. Kill the King got a little airplay, maybe.
Mhm.
I'm not sure.
Oh,
Isn't that weird that the only way to get Kill the King in 1977 was to buy Rainbow on Stage, right? Kind of
Oh.
weird. I bet Dave thought about that probably.
Maybe.
oh, sure. Sure they did.
Next one, you got to put in a Molly Hatchet album, right?
Yep.
Greatest hits. They're always badass. That is pretty bad. That might be your winner right there. Over Yes.
There's not, well, I was going to say there's no bad Molly Hatchet, but what's the album where they're all dressed like cowboys walking through? That's kind of
Guns and Gunslingers.
No Guts, No Glory, maybe.
Yeah, No Guts, No Glory. That's questionable.
The next one was brought up in the chat. Classy, looks serious, like it's a serious band. Rush Chronicles. My last two are kind of classy. So I like the dark colors, It looks like a book, that you're going to open, and it's a double CD, so it's thick like a book. And Allman Brothers, A Decade of Hits, with the emblem right on the back of the jeans pocket there, is pretty cool. And I do want to say, you guys were talking about Judas Priest. This isn't really a greatest hits. It's Rockarola and Sad Wings of Destiny pretty much make up the whole thing. But Hero is pretty cool, and it's a comp. And as for my number one chick, they try to make Pat Benatar look kind of hip in 1989 with Best Shots. And then when it came out in the UK, Best Shots looked like that. And then you got the double CD all fired up, the best of. And then you got the one most people know, the greatest hits right there. None of them are spectacular, so I didn't put them in my list. But
that last one looks like a David Lee Roth, A Little Ain't Enough, a little bit.
Kinda.
If you hold it far away.
Yeah. Oh, okay. From here,
with the text going through the middle and the red image in the middle.
From back here?
No, it doesn't look like it from back there.
Let's test our eyesight with Martin Popoff.
You got to shake it back and forth a little.
Oh boy.
It's like a Seinfeld episode, isn't it?
Pretty much. Oh God.
That's your assignment, Jamie. You got to go get your A Little Ain't Enough. You got it? And compare the two.
Yeah, do you have
I have one. I know what
something
you
he
mean,
doesn't have?
Yeah, David. I only have his first two albums. Oh yeah, the little monkey thing or something.
It's
Like a devil looking thing.
It's a devil thing.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah. It kind of looks that way.
It does.
All right, so my final four. I've got XTC Fossil Fuel, the XTC singles, 1977 to 92. I thought that looks really cool. Looks a little bit like, I don't know, 9 Inch Nails cover or something. It looks very important, and I like the way the text works on it as well. Yeah, XTC, they're kind of funny. I mean, I'd say most of their album covers aren't that great. They're very artsy, right? And they're pretty abstract. But anyways, there's a pretty cool one. Then I've got David Bowie, Changes to Bowie. Great shot of David Bowie, and I took on my Changes 1 Bowie, so you've got that there. But yeah, these always confused me because of how similar, Low and Heroes, they all look kind of the same. Kind of drove me a little bit nuts. Without sort of thinking about it much, I always got them confused as a kid. There's the weird way they do the text on the back, but yeah, Changes to Bowie looks totally badass. Very cool. And then I actually had the same one that John had, Alice Cooper's Greatest Hits. I got to interview Drew Struzan, who did these. Remember, part of Pacific Eye and Ear had Drew.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we know you're the star.
Had,
Whoa, hit the wrong button. Woo.
That's okay. They had Toys in the Attic as well. But yeah, so I believe how it works is Drew Struzan, who has drew a lot of Star Wars stuff, drew this. And he also drew the cover for Welcome to My Nightmare as well, right? But yeah, what a great cover, and the way that text treatment is up there with the the firing squad thing, so cool. Just beautifully put together. Good old Ernie Cephalou and the Pacific Eye and Ear Company. And then my last one is Buzzcocks, Singles Going Steady. There's my copy of it there. So basically, this looks perfectly in line with another music from another, whatever it's called, Love Bites, the yellow one. Boy, I'm drawing a blank here, but they all are of a very similar kind of cool, sleek, modern design bent. It looks like a live album, but yeah, great cover, I think, for a hits pack. There's what your back cover looks like on that. So that is my final four. Let's take a quick look at the comments here. We've got Jefferson Starship, Fight Box, 3 CD, says D Rocker. Let's see, BMX Bandits, 53rd and 3rd years. What else we got here? Greatest Misses. Saigon Kick has a housewife photo on the cover of their Greatest Misses. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm not even aware of that one. Guess Who? The Greatest of the Guess Who. Is that the illustrated cover?
I like the one, yeah, where they're in the hockey locker room. That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't understand. What year did the first one come out? Does anybody
That
know?
is the first one, the illustrated one. I think the second one came out later.
But aren't they the same comp or are they different?
They're different, I believe.
I don't understand why they even brought them out. They're so
I
silly.
have them both, I believe.
All right.
Go on.
Well,
Anyways, let's move over to Peter.
all right,
Okay, got to put Motorhead in the show.
of course.
Motorhead, no remorse. So
That's
love
a
this
fine
album. It's kind of
Wait a
5,
minute.
4. There we go.
There we go.
Different versions of this album. I think there's a version that kind of had a leather cover, and it's a real tasty album, and just got their greatest hits or tasty cuts. So, what more can you say about that? I think it's great.
And the Immortal Killed by Death, right? It had those new songs on it, Snaggletooth with the new lineup. They had a 2 or 3 or 4. I'm not sure how many, but yeah, that was the cool thing about it. You got some new studio tracks.
And that references what you were saying before. There's the hook for people to go out and buy it. New track.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
what about a bit of Led Zeppelin, Mothership? I like this album cover. It's kind of got that real
like
Art Deco 30s feel. I think it's a really grand design. So a lot of the later Led Zeppelin albums, not too keen about, when they were doing reissues, but I really like this one.
Now imagine that's
very
by
tasty.
that famous artist at the time who was hot for doing the political. Was it Ferry? Something Ferry? Isn't there an Obama picture that's in those colors? Like I remember there was
Yep.
at the time graphic artist, and I have a feeling this might be by this. Is it Richard Ferry?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyways,
Sure, our commenters will
probably
put that in. Yeah. But yeah, no, I like this a lot. All right, this is a compilation. I think it was one of those TV promo ones that came out in Australia. May have been in the US, and this is Susie Quattro's greatest hits. And I love the drawing of this one because it really just sums up Susie. There she is, the exploding microphone. Just sums it up. The Banshee, Susie Quattro. I think that went to #1 in Australia. Did you guys get this album? Probably not.
I don't remember, but Susie never did much over here.
Other than Lever Tuscadero and
Other
stumbling
than
in.
Pinky
Yeah.
Tuscadero.
Yeah, but big in the UK. She's a bit of a superstar. Final one. This was my introduction to Black Sabbath. This is a compilation album, and I really like this album cover because it's kind of a medieval war art. And I wonder if you guys know this album cover, Black Sabbath.
It might have been my first one too.
Yeah. I was just used to listen to the doom and gloom of the album and just peruse this album cover, and it's all sorts of atrocities, and it's just totally evil, and it just really suits the tracks on the album, like your Iron Man and War Pigs. But yeah, this was my introduction to Black Sabbath.
I have a feeling that's one of those semi-official things when they were having the fights with Patrick Meehan Sr. and Jr., right? And they, the NEMS label and all that. When we got Live at Last, right? I think this is kind of in the same camp as Live at Last.
Yeah, so
Came out in 1977, and in Australia came out on the 7 record label, which is sort of an offshoot of maybe Neems, I think.
So how do you look at these records? Are they gray area? Are they boots? Are they official? Because obviously Black Sabbath doesn't consider them official.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to look at them. I see them every now and then in the used bins.
Yeah, it doesn't happen too often that your managers are putting something out.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what it is. I mean, that NEMS label was, I guess, their label. So yeah, right around that time, that's when you got Live at Last, which is semi-boot quality, right?
Mm-hmm.
But all killer, no filler on that album. Loved it.
Yeah, a lot of those, for sound quality, a lot of those from that NEMS or whatever, I don't know, they were put out on a couple of different labels too, but they are all very similar. For the most part, they all sound pretty good.
Hey, Grant.
Yeah.
1978.
Okay.
1971. So this was the first one.
All right.
And this has the better track list. This has that Best Buy series on it. So it's like kind of a cheapy one, it feels like now.
Does that have the Wolfman track on there?
It says Clap for the Wolfman. This one does not.
Well, thank God.
Yeah, this has a lot of tracks like Dancing Fool and Star Baby. And when the band was singing, Shaking All Over, none of that's on here.
Yeah. Stick with that 71 comp if you want.
Yeah, that's all.
But there is a good 2 CD comp that's out. I can't remember how long ago. Maybe it came out in 2000, 2001, and it's really good. It has more than you need on there. Okay. Oh, I guess I'm up. Okay, we're going to go with a band. I don't think this band's ever been mentioned on this channel, but we're going to mention it. This the artist who did this is Julian Opie, who is like a British visual graphic designer, uses a lot of human forms and a lot of colors and stuff. And I just thought this was good because it's like one of those situations. They're just not throwing something out there. It's thought out. And I'm going to go with the 2000 comp from Blur, just their greatest hits. Now, you might not like it, but, at least they put thought behind it. And, you're using a decent artist to put that together. So why not?
And not too much hot space.
And it's kind of like Hot Space. I just thought, you're right, John Clauser. There's a doppelganger one for you.
Nice.
But anyway, like I said, I'm trying to find something that I halfway can stand. Now, this comp, I've already brought up The Who once, but I will say, in prepping for this show, I stumbled across this and I went, wow, this really is a nice, the way it's set up, they're using the right logo, it's a nice shot of The Who, but I like this quite a bit. You've got the British flag along the bottom. I think that's great. I like it quite a bit. I don't know what year that came out, though, but if you've known anything about The Who, the record companies have recycled them and put so many greatest hits out that...
There's one that's the whole British flag on the cover, and just the British flag.
Yeah, but I like this. I think this is nice. Number 10, I'm going to go with, if you had both of these, if you had Hot Rocks 1 and Hot Rocks 2, well, the original CDs were separated, but the compilation of Hot Rocks from the Rolling Stones, come on. Great great cover. Yep. Very creative. I dig that. Nice. I think that's a great comp. If you're just getting one Stones thing, I think you could get away with Hot Rocks and be pretty happy. Let's see. Did I do all mine? I think I'm missing one. Uh-oh. Something's missing.
Blur? Stones?
Yeah, something's disappeared.
While you're looking, I'll throw out some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Queen's Greatest Hits. Good picture of the band on that. Faith No More, Who Cares a Lot, The Greatest Hits. That's a pretty cool, cheeky looking album cover. Made in the Shade was mentioned earlier. Mott the Hoople, Rock and Roll Queen. I thought that was a pretty cool one. Eagles, Their Greatest Hits, 1971 to 1975. Has a good fancy cover, right? Leonard Skinner's Innards, The Greatest Hits. And then Little Feat, Hoy Hoy, which just looks like a standard Neon Parks, regular studio album. As well. So that's what I had for great.
I think I forgot to make another one. Okay. I'm going with 9 tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 9. So there you go. Running on a high note.
Good job. So yeah, let's just do a quick little recap with the good viewers here. Best of Bonnie Raitt. We got the Who Kids Are All Right. Was both the soundtrack and a best of. Says the Elder. A Guilty Pleasure Time. Casey and the Sunshine Band. Says D Rocker. Let's see. Seen Moxie twice at Tiny Bars. The Jay Giles Band Centerfold, 97. Creedence Gold. That was a massive, massive seller. Black Sabbath, the Dio Years. Yeah, I guess not the greatest album cover. Those all confused me, all that stuff at that time. They all had a kind of a similar look to them. Let's see what else we got here. Because remember, there was Live at Hammersmith at the same time. Yeah, Moxie Self-Destruction. Yeah, it wasn't a great album cover, but it's hard to believe. Yeah, Moxie had a best of. The Lizzie Dedication, that was a pretty good looking album cover as well, with Phil on it, right? And that great song Dedication with the dodgy sort of history about it. Ramones Mania says high number.
That's good.
Remasters. Yeah, all right. And Logan says, great show, guys. Excellent. Pink Floyd Echoes, best of. Y&T, best of, 81, 85. Yeah, a lot of great examples here. Good stuff. So anyways, there you go.
Right. There you go. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If we couldn't get to your comment, we only can do what we can do, but it's always fun to have interaction with everybody, and that's why we do these shows, just to interact and have fun. It's all about talking music. So if you'd like to be on these panels, you could. We have a Patreon down below. You can sign up for that. A lot of great discussions over there. We also have a Ko-fi. Buy us a cup of coffee or a pint. We would love that. We also have merch. Get yourself a shirt. Get yourself something. You deserve it. And we also love money, so we'd love donations. No donos this week, but that's okay. But we always get excited when we get them. But we do appreciate it. And then we do appreciate everybody watching and supporting the channel. So based on that, gentlemen, Johnny Metal, Jamie Laszlo, Peter Kerr, and Martin and myself, we will see on the next one. What we're doing next week, I'm not sure, but stay tuned. We will be doing something. So everybody keep it real, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, folks.
See you later.
See ya.